So the American counterpart to the R77-1 got added in this dev server. We already mentioned that a little bit, but we didn't take a look on the missile itself. So here we have it, the AIM-120C-5. Oh no, wait, it's the B, right? I mean, I have to change to the C5 that I was using. And it's the same model. So don't you worry, okay? Work in progress, and we still have the same model for the aircraft for some reason. So if you get to the tank over here, if you get it to a tank and stuff, let me show to you guys, it actually has the correct model. And while it loads there, thank you guys so much for the donations that we had during the week. We basically passed over the amount that we needed for the basic stuff. So if you want to keep helping, you can, because I still need to buy a power source and everything. So I will leave the link there if you want to help. And if you help, I will, show your name on the screen and everything, and I'll mention you in the special video that I will do when the upgrade of the PC happens. But anyway, this is it. If you want to help, link is in the description. And yeah, here we have it. Here is the proper model of the AIM-120C-5. So you can see the clipped wings there. This was actually made to be able to be loaded in the F-22 initially, right? Also, technically, it decreases a little bit of the drag, but not by much. But yeah, very cool missile, isn't it? So as you see, clipped wings, AIM-120C-5. If we go to the aircraft itself, it just has the normal model, so it will be fixed, of course, but we need to wait probably like tomorrow or something. We're gonna have the dev server open until like Monday next week, not even tomorrow, next week. So it's gonna take a while, a lot of updates probably on the dev server. So yeah, you can see there which of these aircraft take the missile before we talk about it. The F-15E, which is probably the best user about this missile, but of course we have to the F-18C, which is arguably the best one. It's kind of weird here, but there it is, right? And why is that, guys? That's the thing, right? These aircraft, they suffer from max speed and sometimes climbing. So the F-18, I understand why they added the AIM-120C-5, but the F-15E, I was kind of like, what? But okay. But yeah, F-18C, the F-15E. For the Americans, that's it. They added for the Germans on the F-18C late over here, so not for the Eurofighter, which I think it's a good thing, because, I mean, the Eurofighter is already one of the best aircraft in the game. We have in the RAM over here, as you see right there. And also for the, where is it? The Finnish F-18C MLU-2. This also has the AIM-120C-5. So the missile is basically just for these 5 aircraft for now. I don't know if any other ones will receive it, if the F-16s, F-15, we don't know yet, okay? So we're gonna have to wait and see. I gotta be honest, if they're gonna add for one, add for everybody. They don't, it's not like that big of a change anyway, and it would be on par with the R-77. The weird part is that the R-77 is still kind of worst, but because of the platform. It's kind of funny. We're going to talk about it afterwards, right? So let's take on to a flight to see if we can see any differences here. Because this missile, it's a missile that is pretty much the same that we already had, but it has a new burner and new wings. Everything else, for in-game purposes, it is pretty much the same. Like I said, the model is still the old model, but yeah, let's test it out. And you will notice how the burn time is completely different, because it doesn't have a sustainer. Yes, it only has a full-on burner. Okay, so it just has one booster of about 7 seconds. So there we go. It lofts very aggressively. Very aggressively. Look at his loft, man. I think that's the major thing about this missile. It is that it just lofts like nothing else. Look at this. It just goes, man. Look at the altitude. I mean, those are targets that are indeed flying higher, right? And look at the amount of burn time. So it has just full-on burners, and he really, really aggressively lofts to the target. It will miss. No, he got it. I think he will get it. Everything else will be kind of the same as an AIM-120, so it still has pretty much the same turn, same statistics. It's just going to have more energy. And with more energy means more kills, especially in the longer ranges, right? So it's a missile that will indeed be pretty interesting. But yeah, look at this loft, man. It really is... like, it's so aggressive. I'm gonna show to you guys in Stat Shark later. It's just really, really aggressive. It's a great missile. Great missile. This is going to be, in my opinion, the best missile in the game, for sure. I mean, unless they change it, they can't change the missile. But I just have a feeling that it will be the best missile in the game. Even better than the R77-1. For BVR, that is. For short ranges, of course, the R77 is still going to be better. But it's not by much. It's not by much. Come on, Raider. You can do it. There you go. So yeah, once it's very close, of course, it will not loft, only for very long ranges. And yeah, I mean, the maneuverability here that I can even try to show to you guys. Yeah, it's very good. But it's the same as the normal AIM-120, okay? So don't expect anything else. It's just gonna have more energy, so eventually it will turn more. Look at the amount of burn time it has. So it's a very good missile. Let's take a look on the stat card of the missile, and we'll see already some changes to it, and then we can talk about other ways to actually test this missile. So for example, here we have the B, which has a launch range of 80 kilometers. This thing has 180 kilometers, so much better. Of course, it is a heavier missile. It has a different engine, of course, but it turns the same, 35 Gs. It has a lot more missile guidance as well, of course, time. And it has a little bit more TNT, right? So it has many little changes, of course. I mean, I was kind of simplifying, right? So the missile is going to be, in my opinion, the best missile in the game. But why is that? Well, let's take a look on some facts about these missiles. So if we go to the guided missile weaponry data here that we have made by Kopani and Zabi, we can see some differences. Here is the table of the C5, and these are the B and A's AIM-120s, right? So you can see the difference in the burn time over here. It has one straight engine that has less power than the initial burn here, but more power than the sustainer, and it just burns straight through almost 8 seconds, while this one burns really like fast at start, and then afterwards it has a sustainer that it's weaker. Eventually it gets a little bit more delta V, okay? Does it change much? No. So why does it have a lot more range? And that's the thing, you know. I'm not going to be able to show via here. We're going to go to Stat Shark in a bit. But basically what we have, because look at this, even if we take a look on the drag coefficient over here, it is a little bit higher, and the size wing area multiplier is pretty much the same. So technically it probably has a little bit more drag. I have to check, but because of this, it has the same wing area and a little bit of a higher drag coefficient. It might mean that it has a little bit more drag. But the thing is, it's the amount of pull and how does it do the pull that it will actually make it work. And that's the funny part. So let's go to Stat Shark. So you can see that here we can kind of, it's basically very similar, right? It doesn't change much. But look at Stat Shark. So here we have it. Against a 60-kilometer target, 10 kilometers of altitude, and 1,200 kilometers per hour you flying, and the target as well. Look at this loft that the AIM-120C-5 does. This is the R77-1 and the AIM-120. The funny part is that, indeed, the R77-1 still manages to get to the target first, as you see. But shortly afterwards, in some seconds afterwards, like 3 or 4, the missile will get there. And the cool part about this is, look at this. The R77 at the very late stages of the flight, it has around Mach 1.9 of speed. But look at the AIM-120C-5. In the very late stages, it becomes 2.09. A lot higher than the AIM-120. The R77 was a lot higher than the AIM-120B, but the C5 has a lot more energy in the later stages, guys. That's the main feature about this missile. Look at this. The loft is very, very aggressive. So although it does have a little bit more delta V, it trades basically that. You can see that they are flying the same parameters over here, in the same kind of distance. Basically, they flew the same kind of distance. Like, if you take a look, they flew 27 kilometers, both of them. But one of them is trading the extra energy that he has for more altitude, which means that in the later stages he has more energy. So although the AIM-120C-5 will take a little bit more time to get to the target, and if you are facing an R77-1 with the AIM-120C-5, you're going to have to be careful with that. But at the same time, the C5 at a very late stage of the flight will still have more energy than the R77-5 and -1, and of course than the AIM-120B, to be able to get a target that it's trying to maneuver. Okay, so the AIM-120C-5 is gonna be like the R77-1, but better in the later stages. And why, for example, the R77-1 sometimes doesn't feel like he gets enough hits compared to some of the AIM-120s? Because of the platform as well, guys. Normally what will happen here is that the F-15E, for example, will be able to shoot this missile higher and faster than the Su-30SM, which means that this missile already starts with a better performance, which means that overall, the C5, specifically for the F-15E and I, will be the best BVR missile in the game. Although, in the shorter ranges, the R77 still wins, okay? So that's kind of how it will work, okay? We can try to take a look here on the drag of these missiles. You can still see that the R77-1 has a lot more drag. They always have a lot more drag, especially because of the fins. But indeed, the C5 has more drag than the AIM-120B, which is interesting to see, you know. Of course, it is accelerating more as well. You can see that it has just a little bit more time burning, which helps. And also, of course, the mass of the missile is heavier as well, right? This can be a problem at first, but later it can be a good thing when it's diving down to a target, for example. It's just bad when it's starting to accelerate, but it already has more speed, right? And clearly here we can see the measurement of energy, which in this case is measured by speed. You can see that the more time goes, the AIM-120C-5 becomes better and better and better, and because of the drag of the R77, and eventually after very long range shots, the AIM-120C-5 will be faster than the R77, meaning it has more energy for those very long range final shots. Again, guys, what does that mean? It means short range will still be king, the R77-1. Longer ranges, the C5 will be the best. That's kind of the idea, okay? And basically this is it. This is what you should expect from this missile. It's not that different from the AIM-120B. The main difference here is the lofting, that it's just, oh my god, it's very aggressive. Even if we try to take a look here, for example, in a very long range shot, hold up, no, pause it. I can do like a 120 kilometers, for example, a very, very long range shot. You will see something very interesting happening. So look at this. The loft here really will help the target, the AIM-120C-5. Look at this. Yeah. So, of course, this is too far away, but look at this. The AIM-120B in 80 seconds already, you know, doesn't have battery. The AIM-120C-5 can still have a battery and still has a lot more energy, because potential energy over here to get to the final position, right? So it's a lot different the way that it actually attacks a target, and that's why in the very, very long ranges, maybe 180 is too much, maybe 90 kilometers. Let's see. Because it doesn't have battery time, but you get the point, right? Let's see, yeah, see? So, yeah, look at the speed, 1.57 Mach. This is Mach 2, man. Look at this, At the very late stages, it's still close to Mach 2, while the R77 hit the target first, but with 1/4 the speed less. That's a lot of energy lost, okay? So this is how impressive the AIM-120C-5 will be in the very long ranges. But again, short ranges, The AIM-120 will still lose for the R77 due to the more energy that the R77 has initially because of the extra thrust, and of course the ability of carrying 15 Gs more on the turning capability. Okay, this is my idea behind the AIM-120C-5. Let me know in the comments what you think. See you into the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, if you want to help the channel improve the quality, we had the goal, we already hit it. Of course, if you still want to donate, it still helps a lot because I still don't have the money for the power supply. I didn't think the goal was going to be hit it, you know, and people just helped so much, but I still don't have the money for that. If you want to help, link is in the description, okay? You don't need to if you don't want to. I see you guys on the next one, and bye guys, see ya. Thank you for watching.